Kodak delivered it like that at first, and I was like, oh nah, this sound crazy. Like I knew off the rip, it was gonna get people dancing, get people like in that vibe, because it just got me in that vibe off the rip. So nah, it was no pressure. I knew it was one of them ones.
In terms of how they were stopped and how they were detained, you have to think that when officers are going in to execute a search warrant, and I've written numerous search warrants as a former prosecutor, and they've been gone out to execute a search warrant as part of the officer.
Christian Combs has uncovered some truly shocking details about what really went on at Diddy's house parties and the reasons behind the raid on his mansion. This information is quite troubling, especially considering that Gandil has also alleged Diddy's possible involvement with minors.
You made a comment, right, saying that you knew someone that went through Jimmy Hinchman proffer agreement for a drug case. And the proffer agreement revealed that Jimmy Hinchman, he could have walked away if he would have given up Diddy. What you mean by that?
Well, what happened was is that they had 9 different sessions with Jimmy Hinchman regarding his proffer agreement. So that means the feds went in there 9 different times to talk to him. And in those sessions, they asked him, what do you know about Sean Puffy Combs or Sean Diddy Combs? I don't think it was Puffy at that time. It wasn't Diddy at the time. But what do you know about Sean John Puffy Combs having sex with underage boys? And you got to realize, and people never think about this, that Jimmy and his brother, I think they had the same charges. But his brother walked away from that, and Jimmy gets life without the possibility of parole, I think. Which is crazy. For any charge. Nobody should spend their life in jail for charges. And just charges. But I think they try to tie him to some murders or something like that. I don't know that to be for sure. But he shouldn't spend his life in jail for no charges. Not at all. So, but they was gonna let him walk. The feds not coming there unless somebody made a report or somebody made some allegations against Puff in 2011 to ask a friend of his, Jimmy Hinchman, what do you know about that? But for them to ask him about that, it had to be more than a rumor. Somebody made a complaint somewhere. And the feds got hold to that complaint. Now they're going to investigate that complaint when they get people under the barrel, like they had Jimmy Hinchman. That's why they asked him.
If he did know information, right, why you think he didn't tell?
Then they would ask, how do you know? And then it comes into play, whereas that if you know of anybody that's in danger in the welfare of a child, and you see that, and you don't report it, you're just as guilty as the person who does it.
Many have speculated about his connections to Epstein and child trafficking. If you look at how he treated Justin Bieber and Usher, it becomes evident that this individual cannot be trusted around children.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh?
No,
you ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
Hey.
Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come out. You gotta, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15. You could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
All right, 16.
No,
16.
Slow down. Let's slow down, Josh.
Okay.
Let's slow down. Okay.
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you you know, when you get 16, you're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion.
Yeah.
So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So yeah, and we gonna go buck full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you wanna do? What you wanna do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang with some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid.
And let's not forget the time he was reportedly forced to drink alcohol by Diddy.
Welcome to the family, John.
Usher wasn't safe either. Many people are now drawing comparisons, suggesting that this situation mirrors how Usher was allegedly groomed.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody
it was
tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Uh-huh.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans.
And your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary J.
okay?
Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem.
Yeah.
I had like,
What
like
a
a living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
Sadly, it appears that Usher might still be protecting Diddy. According to Gandil, some speculate that this could be a trauma response.
Looking at this lawsuit, right, Lil Rod, he alleges that, Diddy told him personally that he had sex with Usher. And when you look at the lawsuit, even though they got Usher name redacted, you could tell who it is because they described him as the guy that performed at the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, I mean, we all know who that is, but how you feel about that, man?
Well, I mentioned that earlier. That he said about Stevie J. The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now, I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you you gonna give him a pass. Bruh, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fillet right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fillet. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp. Y'all put it together.
And what you mean by Diddy camp?
Remember? He was on one of the talk shows. The white guy with the curly hair. What's his name? The white guy with the curly hair. And he said, yo, would you send your son to Diddy camp? And Usher said, no. Ask him why he won't send him to Diddy camp. But yet and still you praise him.
Damn, man, and you said that, I know you can't go into detail, but you said that it was a situation where Diddy sent him to the hospital?
Let Usher explain that to you. Let Usher mama explain that to you. And the hospital was in Scarsdale, New York.
The most intriguing part is that Gan Deal had predicted Diddy would face repercussions, especially in relation to Justin Bieber.
Now, do you think he has a mole or an informant in his camp that's cooperating?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Listen, bro. Just doing law enforcement myself, just take for instance. I think the individual was a Syracuse former basketball player named Jason Barnes or Beard or something like that. He already had charges against him. The day Diddy house get raided, they catch him getting on the plane and they put him into custody. Didn't that sound a little weird? People didn't catch that. They either put him in custody for a couple of reasons. You understand? One, to make a witness out of him, or to safeguard him and protect him for anything that could happen to him, because they had already stated, allegedly, that he was some kind of mule for the people over there at Diddy's house. So now, with that information, that he was already known by the government for charges, wouldn't that be an individual that you use? I'm gonna give you something different. And I'm gonna give you something else that people don't even think. On the other day, I seen on the video that Puff had ran into Justin Bieber. They met up. And he started tapping him as if he was searching him and see if he had some kind of device on. Did you see that?
Yep.
Check this out. What if the federal government have already talked to Justin Bieber? And Diddy did that on tape. That means in his mind, he thinks this person may be a witness. Right?
Yep.
What he had just done that is against the law.
Nothing that we seen.
Tampering with a federal witness. If they have already talked to Justin Bieber prior to him doing that, he goes and look like he's searching him. It appears that he's asking Justin Bieber, yo, you got a wire or something like that? Like, you're tampering with a federal witness. That's a charge right there that can land him in jail. Reckless. That was real reckless.
Man, it's gonna be kind of crazy to see everything unfold, man.
In 2014, Diddy snapped up a jaw-dropping $40 million estate in Los Angeles, nestled in the ultra-luxurious neighborhood of Holmby Hills. This sprawling European-style villa epitomizes luxury, covering a massive 17,000 square feet with an additional 3,000 square feet guest house. The mansion includes everything you'd expect from a Diddy-worthy home: a 35-seat theater, a gym, a wine room, and even an underwater swimming tunnel. Built in 2014, the estate is relatively new and features 8 bedrooms and 11 bathrooms, along with a separate spa house complete with a steam room, massage room, and beauty salon, essentially everything needed for the ultimate in relaxation and luxury. Many have pointedly asked why no powerful figures have spoken out against Diddy. The answer may be that they prefer to avoid association with him or the risk of having their own issues exposed.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's crazy, man. But why haven't any of Diddy friends spoke up for him?
My man, listen here. All those ones who made it to the Diddy party, to the after party, and to the hotel lobby, they not gonna ruin their brand. They not gonna say nothing. Man, I was watching the other day. Listen to me. They did that, they on Channel 2 News here in New York. Gayle King and Nate and that other guy, they were talking about, they showed him beating Cassie, and they showed him the apology and the whole 9 yards. All they said is that we have commentary about that, but we got to go to a commercial. They never came back and said nothing about it.
Diddy has many powerful friends, and some of them are alleged to have been involved in His Highness activities. For instance, Harve Pierre, who was closely associated with Diddy for years, is said to have been complicit in various troubling actions.
But speaking of Harvey Pierre, how do you feel about him getting accused of sexual assault?
Like I said, anything that has to do with those those people have to prove that. But are they capable? Yeah, they're capable. Look at the atmosphere. They in the music industry. They in the music business. They set up those type of, they learn the tricks of the trade. For instance, guys don't put those pills that they get to the girls in the champagne bottles because they popping them in front of them. Most of those girls, especially if they like mixed drinks, you understand, they see the bottles when they open them, and they trying to keep their eyes on because they don't want to get no kind of put in their system. But what they don't understand is in the orange juice and it's in the cranberry juice. They didn't put the pills and the stuff in there, the X, E, or whatever they put it in the juice. Now, those girls who like the mixed drinks, you understand what I'm saying? They gonna pour their own sexual act because they don't understand it ain't in the bottles, it's in the juice. Those guys, they learn that and they put it to those girls who don't know no better.
In December 2023, a lawsuit was filed against Diddy, marking the 4th such lawsuit accusing him of rape and sex trafficking. This time, an anonymous woman identified as Jane Doe claims that Combs that two others gang raped her when she was just 17 years old during her junior year of high school. According to court documents obtained by USA Today, the lawsuit names Combs along with Harve Pierre, the former president of Bad Boy Entertainment, who is also facing separate sexual allegations.
So, for them to do that, man, that's some real thirsty, desperate shit. That's some real thirsty, desperate shit. For them to fly a 17-year-old girl, you know, on a G5. They was flying G5 and G4 jets back then. All the way to New York to gang rap her in the studio. Man, I wish I could give them their punishment. If that's true.
Yeah, that's what she said, man. She said that Diddy, he flew her to New York, took her to the studio, gave her a game, and there's pictures online too. So she was at his studio, Daddy house. So, I mean, she ain't lying about that. She was there, man.
It's crazy, man. I really don't. I got daughters, man. I have words. I don't have words for that, bro. And I don't know any of the guys who were officers that worked for Bad Boy like myself would allow that shit to happen. They wouldn't allow that shit to go down. Pup and them, they know what to do with certain people around. You understand? When they got those dudes who was, you know, from the hood and they was doing bodyguard work and they was doing stuff like that, they may, but I don't know any of the officers that I knew that was working for Puff would allow any of that shit to go down. Because they know they could lose their job and they could be brought up on charges too.
The lawsuit includes photos that Jane Doe says were taken at the studio that night, including one where she is seen sitting on Combs' lap, who was 34 at the time. The suit accuses Combs, Pierre, and an unnamed third person of plying Jane Doe with alcohol before brutally gang raping her. It's not just Diddy who is facing trouble, even King Combs is allegedly involved in troubling behavior. A woman named Grace Omar filed a 31-page civil lawsuit in Los Angeles County Superior Court on April 4, 2024, detailing an incident she claims occurred in 2022 while she was working as a crew member on a boat hired by Shay Combs.
Grace Omar in Los Angeles Superior Court accusing 26-year-old Christian Combs of drugging her and sexually assaulting her in December of 2022 when she was working in a charter boat in St. Martin. So according to the lawsuit, Omarkey says that she had been working as a steward, providing food and drinks on that yacht for a 12-hour period. And she was 25 years old at the time. She believed that the trip would be a, quote, wholesome family excursion, but says it, quote, turned into a hedonistic environment, even describing rampant abuse among sex workers and celebrities who came on board. She believes that the alcohol on the yacht had been laced with drugs because she says women would have one drink and then almost immediately pass out or start falling over. This is, by the way, something that it was also alleged in Jones's lawsuit that Combs would spike the drinks of different people. But focusing on Christian Combs, Omarkey says that Christian Combs had been staying at a villa on the shore, but that he would come onto the yacht in the evening to party. And on December 28, 2022, Christian reportedly arrived very intoxicated and then proceeded to pressure Omarkey to take shots of tequila. She did. Christian allegedly tried to get her to drink more in the yacht's makeshift studio. Omarkey alleges that Christian kissed her neck, kissed her face, as he groped her legs, breasts, and private areas. Omarkey reportedly told Christian, quote, "Excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where I want to. If I want to do this, then I will. You don't touch my legs like that." Omarkey then says that she told Christian she couldn't stay with him unless it was approved by a supervisor, all of whom she knew would be asleep at the time, so this was a way for her to get out of the situation. She claims that Christian said, "Who can I talk to? I'm going to say I requested you right now." Omarkey then says she responded with, quote, "Well, you can take your hand off my ass for the first thing." Omarkey says that she tried to go back to her work, but Christian found her again, wanted her to find him a place to sleep for the night. So she ended up taking him to the cinema room for the yacht, which doubled as a place for people to sleep. And she claims that is when Christian blocked her and groped her, took off his clothes, tried to force her to perform oral sex on him. She says that she was able to fight him off until someone came in. Now, the lawsuit goes on to say that Omarke told the yacht captain what happened the very next day, but he didn't believe her, didn't do any sort of real investigation. She says the captain retaliated against her for months after the alleged assault before ultimately firing her in May of 2023. Now, aside from her account, aside from a potential other witness, right, the person that allegedly walked in on this, what proof is there that this happened? Well, she reportedly has photos of the bruises that she says were caused by this event with Christian Combs.
Recently, rapper 50 Cent has intensified his criticism of those supporting Sean Diddy Combs amid the ongoing controversy surrounding the music mogul. In response, 50 Cent is preparing to release a Netflix docu-series titled Diddy Do It, which aims to delve deeply into these controversies and could have significant repercussions for Diddy's career. 50 Cent explained that some people in the industry remain silent because they've attended Diddy's parties and fear their own experiences might be exposed on tape. He noted that it seems he's the only one speaking out, despite having voiced concerns for years about something being off. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.